Hey there, so you're thinking about building your business through the power of social media? Well, you are in the right spot because today I'm going to share with you 3 tips and tricks for leveraging the power of Instagram and how it can help scale your business to the next level. Let's hop into it right now. Hey there, Mariah Koehle here. I help real estate agents the modern way by helping them leverage the power of social media to scale their business. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 tips and tricks that you can use to launch and propel your real estate business forward by using the power of Instagram and social media. I had recently moved from California to Utah. We had moved our family out here to Utah during COVID, and I knew I could leverage social media. I had already been selling homes in California. I knew what I was doing at that, but I knew I didn't know anybody in Utah. I was starting brand new. I'm a mom of 4. I'm a carpool soccer driving mom, but I also am wanting to rebuild my business in a new place where I didn't know anyone. So I knew I was going to leverage social media by doing this. And so I just knew, hey, I'm going to commit to a crazy amount of time and let's just see what happens. And honestly, after I ended up getting, it was probably 300 followers before I ended up getting my first listing here in Utah. I got a message from a woman. She had said, hey, I noticed that you sell homes in both California and Utah. Here's the situation with my house. We are moving out of state. I need to sell. I really like your work. When can we meet? And I looked at my husband. I was like, yep, this is how it works. And that honestly has been how it has worked ever since. So yes, it is nice to have thousands and thousands of followers, but you do not need thousands of followers to get business from leveraging social media. So number 1, let's hop right into it. Number 1 is do your research. Yes, I know that sounds basic, but find what your ideal client is. What are you looking for? Who do you want to work with? Are you wanting to work with first-time home buyers? Okay. Are you wanting to, work with investors? Are you wanting to work in the luxury home sphere? Are you wanting to work with new home construction? Figure out what your ideal client is. Maybe you're brand new to the industry, or maybe you're a veteran and you've been in this industry for a long time. Narrow down your ideal client and maybe choose 3, maybe choose a couple. In the beginning, maybe you just want to choose 1, or you're just happy to have any buyer that will come to you or any seller that will come to you. But eventually what you're really going to want to do is narrow that focus and really focus in on who you are wanting to attract as your ideal client. So that's the first one when you're doing your research. Going along with doing your research on if you are using the platform of Instagram. What I want you to do is I want you to go on Instagram and I want you to start looking at accounts. I want you to start looking at accounts that resonate with you. Their branding resonates with you. Their content resonates with you. Figure out what you want to portray and what you want to project to your audience, to that ideal client. So once you figure it out in your mind, write it down. Who do you want to work with? The second is figuring out what that's going to look like, what that content's going to look like. So when you go on Instagram, go ahead and start following different accounts that really resonate with you. Follow accounts that go, oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is the way I want to show up. This is the way I want to portray myself. And use that as kind of a guide. Sometimes we like to say R&D, rip off and duplicate, but you're not going to rip off everything they have and whatever. But what you're going to do is you're really going to look at that and use that as a structure, use that as a baseline, as kind of a guide of, hey, this is the way, this is the layout that I like. This is what I see. This is the kind of content that they are putting out. and maybe that's what I want to use too. So figure out your ideal client. Next, like I said, figure out what, start following accounts that resonate with you. Number two, first of all, we had number one, which was do your research. Find your ideal client, figure out what it is, who do you want to show up as, and follow those accounts that really resonate with you. Number two, after you have done your research, now it's time for the game plan. Now it's time for the lesson plan. Now you schedule out what you're doing. For many people, batching content works wonders. Now, what's batching content for some of you that are just getting started? Batching content is going ahead and laying out content for a week, for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, whatever it is. But really, if you are able to get ahead, and this is a pro tip where most people end up falling behind or not staying consistent, is because they don't have the game plan. They're thinking, okay, I want to show up on Instagram and I want to post twice a week. Okay, well, they post the once and then life gets in the way and they don't have that already in the pipeline. They don't have something already ready to go. So what happens is that second time that they are going to post that week, life happens, they get busy, and then they forget to post, right? Well, if you have your game plan and you already have your posts structured and laid out, then you are going to be able to be a lot more consistent. So if you have a plan of maybe you're going to start out and you're posting once a week, or maybe it's twice a week. Keep in mind too, though, if you are posting consistently and you are posting the same day at basically the same time, guess what happens? The algorithm picks that up. The algorithm loves consistency. And I know I've heard some people say like, oh, the algorithm doesn't like me, or oh, the algorithm doesn't like my content, or whatever it is. But honestly, if a lot of times what happens is people don't stay consistent for a long enough period of time. They'll do it for a couple of weeks or a month and they notice that nothing's happening. Well, that could be because it's not long enough, or the content, whatever it is, but if you stick with it. So with that number two is really just having your game plan. I have different spreadsheets and different templates that I use. And so when I'm batching out content, I batch out on Instagram, I batch out my posts for an entire month. I know that might sound daunting. In the beginning, I honestly felt like I was on a hamster wheel. When I first started, I posted one day and then I woke up almost the next day in a panic thinking, oh no, what am I gonna post? I don't have the picture, I don't have the content, I'm having writer's block, I don't know which hashtags to use, and it just felt so overwhelming. However, now how I end up, my game plan personally is I sit down even before the month is coming up. So sometimes, usually mid-month, I will go ahead and if I'm mid-month into the next month, I'll sit down, I'll take a couple of hours, I will find all the photos that I want to use, I will figure out all of the content that I want to use, and I really just go ahead, I plug the pictures in, I plug the content in, and then I plug the hashtags in. And then really when it's time to make those posts, it's literally copying and pasting them in there. Some people ask me, Mariah, what do you use for scheduling apps? Honestly, I tried a couple different scheduling apps for a month or so, and it really just didn't work for me. So because I already have it already done, I just copy and paste it in there. It takes me 30 seconds to do it. In the morning, I post at the exact same time almost every single morning, and I'm consistent and I do it daily. And so because of doing it daily, because of having the game plan, there's really not a lot of thought work that goes into it now because it's already planned out. So if you are able to batch that content, like I had mentioned, do it all in one sitting. And what's going to end up happening is you are going to start getting in the routine and getting in the habit. And once you've gotten in the routine, once you've gotten in the habit of it, it's just going to be like second nature. So sometimes people say like, Mariah, how are you so consistent on posting? And I said, well, I already have the lesson plan. I already have the game plan. I've already done it a month ago. And now all I need to do is just copy and paste it right in there. So if you have your game plan and you've already done the work, take a certain amount of time out of your month and give yourself a couple of hours. And then what you will see that will happen too is your efficiency will skyrocket. So instead of like trying to figure out a post, trying to figure out the picture and the content and the hashtags, what you're going to start doing is you're going to be able to do all of that. And the amount of time that it'll take you to do one post, you would be surprised how much time you will save by doing multiple posts. And a lot of times you can use those same hashtags. I have a Google Doc with a hashtag word bank on it. And I have hashtags that I use. And I know some people are like, oh, Mariah, hashtags are so out of date. Or, oh, Mariah, this and that. Here's the thing with hashtags though. I have had so many clients find me based on a hashtag. Recently, I sold a family, a house to a family, and they said, and I actually asked them, I said, okay, so I know you found me on the gram, but how exactly did you find me? And the one client, she's like, oh, well, I actually typed in the hashtag Park City and I came across your account and I started following you. After I followed you, she's like, that's when I messaged you, and the rest is history. And they found a beautiful house and they are very happy here in Utah. So what ended up happening is from one single hashtag, and that was not very long ago when this video is being made. So having hashtags already based out, and I'll do other videos on this, but really having some of your keywords of where you live, things that you're into, right? And whatever that picture or your content is about. So hashtags are really important. So you've got your batching your content. Once you've batched your content, you're able to just plug in your pictures, your content, your hashtags. And then last but not least, number 3 is literally just putting in the reps. I know. And staying consistent. I was a Division I soccer player many years ago. And I remember I showed up for training camp. It was double days, super hot. And I remember, going out on the field, and my coach was like, all right, you guys, everybody go ahead and pick up a soccer ball. I need everybody to, pick up the ball and do 100 juggles with your feet. And people were looking around and they're like, I can't do 100 juggles with my feet. But I remember when I was playing club soccer and on my club team, in order to even step on the field, we had to juggle at least 100. And so I remember thinking like, wait, I've been putting in the reps for like years. Like I could probably do 100 with my eyes closed right now. The same thing goes with social media. Honestly, I remember the very first post I made on Instagram. I remember thinking like, this is so hard. There is no way I can keep showing up day after day or week after week. How do people build businesses on this? But once I figured out, research what you're looking for. Who do you want to show up? Who's your ideal client? Next, once you've done that, start batching out your content. Once you set aside a couple of hours in a month, get all of your things lined up, then the last thing is literally just showing up and putting in the reps. And this one can sometimes be the hardest because it is you are depending on yourself. You are showing up time and time again and being consistent. So if you are committing to yourself, and I remember the first week that I did it, I just said, you know what, Mariah? I am going to put out a post a day for 1 week. And it was kind of just this challenge of like, I don't know, can I do it? I don't know, let's find out. And I made it through a week and I was like, gosh, that was so hard. But I was not batching content. I wasn't doing anything like that. As I started doing more research and I found out like, oh, I should be batching. Oh, I should be, having some of these other things, this plan in place. Then it made the reps so much easier because I had the game plan, I had already done the research, and now it was just showing up. And this part of showing up, it will take for some people, their accounts just explode immediately. For other people, like myself, It took me a year, one whole year of showing up every single day consistently. So first, let's review. Have your, do your research. Number 2, get your game plan in set. And number 3, put in the reps and be consistent. And I promise you, if you do those 3 things, you cannot lose with social media. You cannot lose with Instagram, because people are out there watching. People are out there. People want to do business with people they know, that they like, and that they trust. And if they are watching you and following you, there is a good chance they already know you. They already feel like they know you. They already trust you, and they already like you. So this is an awesome way to build your business and scale your business through social media. So if you are looking to, grow your business or leverage your business through the power of social media, and you are looking to partner with like-minded people, please feel free to reach out to me, send me a message, send me an email. I am partnering with people and agents like you all the time, and I absolutely love it. So wishing you a wonderful day. Take care and have a great one. Bye.